For the last day of notes, we have to determine the best method, and then we have to solve. So we know 3 methods. We know graphing, substitution, and elimination method. Okay? We need to know which method to use to solve, and then solve it that method. So going through the different examples, it says graphing method. Both equations are in slope-intercept form or can easily be put into SIF. Okay, so let's just go through real quick. Do we have slope-intercept form? Very close. The first one is, and it has a fraction, so I can graph rise over run. This one's very close to be, I can just add the 4x over. This one, we don't have x or y by itself. And number 3, we do have y by itself, so that would be a possibility. But number 1 is the better one for graphing because we have that fraction. So we're going to use the graphing method for number 1. Then it says substitution method. Either x or y is by itself or can easily be arranged to be by itself. Let's put the word by in here. By itself. So if I look down here, this one does not have x or y by itself, but this one does have y equals. So we're going to use substitution method here. And then lastly, we have the elimination method. It says the x or y can easily be canceled, or you can multiply one equation to easily cancel out a variable. Alright, so here, look, the x's are and the y's are all matched up. I can't eliminate right now, but I could, eventually I could eliminate the y's if I multiply by 2, making that a 2y. So let's use that as the as the elimination method. Okay? I will pause. Alright, so now, to solve the first one, we're going to graph that equation over here. So we're going to start at positive 3 and rise 3, run 2. Down 3, left 2. Okay, for the second equation, we do have to change that so that y is by itself. So we're adding the 4x to the other side, or rearranging. So I'm going to start at negative 2 and rise 4, run 1. And I see that it meets at one point, which is 2, 6. And 2, 6 is my answer B. Okay? So 2, 6. Number 3, we said we were going to use the elimination method. And so I would like to cancel the y's out. Since this is already negative, that would be easy to make a positive 2. So if this is already 1, I'm going to multiply both sides by, I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 2. So the top stays the same. The bottom, I distribute my 2. Eliminate, and we get 5x equals 25. If I divide by 5, we know x is 5. Okay, so we know it's either B or C. And then I plug that back into one of these equations, and I'm going to pick the bottom equation, x plus y equals 7. And plug that 5 in for x. And if I subtract 5, we get y is 2. So that would be 5, 2, and that's C. Okay, and then lastly we have the substitution method. So step 1 is where the y is already by itself, or the x. So in this case, y. Step 2, we write down the other equation. So this equals y. So y goes away, and we're putting that in its place. And then we combine. We add our 2 over. Divide by 5. And x is 1. So we know it's either B or D. Okay, step 3 says go back to step 1. Plug x into, or plug 1 into x, so 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So we're looking at 1, 2, which is D.